marketing, sales, and all. And now we will continue towards our marketing and promotion part, and a bit also towards the finance part. Right. So in marketing, we learned in the last unit about the distribution, how the books are distributed, how a publisher tries to promote their book, and how a publisher tries to sell their books. Right. So now there are few more aspects that the publisher tries, through which their sales can be increased, through which their publicity should increase, so that the more and more readers should be attracted towards their products, towards their books. Right. So one of the methods is that you most of have attended the trade fairs, book fairs, exhibitions, right? So we will learn about these, like what are the kinds of trade fairs there, what is the importance of book exhibitions, book trade fairs, and book fairs. The book fair, maybe some of you have visited. The book fair is conducted annually in Kolkata, in Delhi. The biggest book fair is considered as the Kolkata in India, and the second that is held in Delhi in Pragati Madan in in the month of February, I think. Right, so you should visit those. It helps a lot. It helps everyone, publishers, readers, purchasers. Right. So basically, these all trade fairs, book fairs, and book exhibitions. These are all the events that showcase and promote the specific industries or products for the publishers. The product is their book, their journals, right? But yes, all have some specific differences between them regarding their products, and obviously in the audience, what kind of audience are coming to the book exhibition, and what kind of audience are coming to the book fair, right? So trade fair also it is also known as the trade exhibition or the trade show. Right? It is an event where the businesses from a particular industry come together and to promote their products or services to the potential buyers, to the potential industry professionals. Right? So the publishers also attend these, and they demonstrate their products. So in these are all these uh, book fairs, book exhibitions, and all. These are all the B2B events, business to business events. So their main motive is to generate leads, to make sales, to promote the networks of the publisher, right, and to establish the partnership with other publishers or other parties who are interested in those. So, and these industries, these trade fairs are not just limited to the publishing industry. The trade fairs are limited to are spread across all the industries, right? So, but yes, the books and publishers are also a part of that. But specifically for the books, a specific book fair is conducted every year annually. They can be biannually also. It depends how the organizers are organizing the book fairs. Right? So a book fair is an event specifically organized for the publishing industry. Like a trade fair, it can be for other industries also, but a book fair is an event that is specifically organized for the publishing industries. Those involved, the publishers, the authors, uh, right? The authors and the readers. So it serves as a platform for all the publishers, booksellers, and authors to showcase and sell their books. Right? There they negotiate their publishing rights also. They interact with the readers. In the book fairs, we will also find the authors publicizing their books. Right? When author has written a book, and the publishers are displaying those in their stalls. So it may be, it is not that it may be, but it happens that the authors come there, publishers invite the authors, their authors, and they explain about their books. They demonstrate, they tell the readers what all the features of the book are and all. So these are advertised there. So the authors also get the publicity there by the publishers. The readers also get to know about the authors, right? So, and it is not specifically open to any specific kind of class or not. It is open to the to general public. So anyone who is interested in books can go there and have a look at the books of their interest. Similarly, the book exhibition is also a part of that. A book exhibition is basically similar to the book fairs, because both focuses on the books and the publishing industry only, right? And they can be organized by the educational institutions, libraries, museums, right? And book exhibitions have on the display there books, the historical documents, other literary artifacts there. Right. So they may also include the educational programs, some learning workshops, lectures by the professors and by the anyone expert in the specific field. There can be lectures on that also. Right. So uh, these all are the basically trade fairs, and these all are the B2B events as I just know. And the there are also some classifications of these book fairs and all, right? Regarding the size also, how big the book fair is, you know. Uh, right. Just a second. Just a second. Yeah. So the book fairs are also categorized on the basis of sizes, how on what kind of scale these are being organized. Similarly, there are also the categorization of book exhibitions and all, right? In terms of sizes, the periodicity, because some book exhibitions are conducted annually, some are conducted along with some special events. Suppose any literary program is being conducted, and along with that, a book exhibition can be conducted, right? And in the terms of the nature of the books also, right? Sometimes a book exhibition can display only a book of some specific nature, of specific subjects also, right? So basically, the purpose is same of all. It's just that it depends on the purpose and the size and the periodicity. Uh, they are categorized on the scale of the organization periodicity and all. Right? So obviously, these are very important for the publisher also, trade, because they get a chance to display their product. Right? The sales people of the publisher get a chance to have a look at other publishers, that how well the other publishers stores are performing, and what is the difference between their stall and the other publisher stall, right? What kind of books they are producing. So because when a book fair is conducted and a publisher is putting up their stall there, so in those stalls the sales people, the marketing people, and the editors also go there. They all have the duty. They are the editorial staff and all. So by this, they also get to know what kind of customers they have for their books, what kind of readers they have for their books, what is the market that their books should be. Because when if an editor is giving their duty on their company stall, they also visit other stalls, right? So they can see there that what kind of readers are approaching towards other publishers and what kind of readers are what kind of audience are approaching towards our stall. And what is the by looking at their books and all, because as it is open to all, right? So by looking at their books and all, so they can get an idea what kind of books they are producing. Uh, if we can do something better than that, than those books, those publishers, and if we can do somewhat more what they are doing, or if we are performing better, it is what can also be the case that we are performing better than those. So there are high chances of networking, of marketing, of sales. As I have repeated many times that to know our target reader, to our market is very important to get the success. Uh, and this is a very good opportunity, a very good platform to get in a direct contact with your readers, yeah, with your market. Because if an editor's job uh, is a sitting job in a publishing house. They are sitting in a publishing house. They have idea of their readers. Obviously, they are then only they are doing their books, right? So, but here the editors are also getting chance to meet their audience. So when you have the sound knowledge or better knowledge of your readers, you can always perform better. Uh, if you will perform better, then obviously your publisher will perform better, right? So also there are discussions in book fairs and all, small workshops kind, small lectures by the authors, discussions on the intellectual property rights are conducted there. So yeah, what kind of copyrights are there and what kind of copyrights are available to others for a publisher. Right? So these kind of activities are also conducted in these book fairs, trade fairs, and exhibitions. And yes, that publishers also get attention here of the media, right? Because some public event is being conducted, so media is always there. Right? So if media is there, media will obviously visit the different stalls and will give their news about that. So the publishers also get a window where they are visible to a mass audience, which they were not able to reach when just the marketing or sales people were approaching to the specific market. Right? So here the publisher is also getting a window to get advertised or to get open to the mass audience. Right? So, but this is also a question arising these days that as now everything is digital, where virtual presence is everywhere of everything. So, book fairs are still important or not? Yes, it is a truth that digitalization is there, and the book fairs are not as on not as large or not as on large scale as they were earlier. They are shrinking in size these days. Yes, many book publishers also sometimes they are do not prefer to invest in the book fair because some for two past years as we have witnessed the COVID thing and all. So because this is the thing that is held periodically annually by money, but because of the for few years, 2 3 years for the COVID and all, the book fairs were not conducted, right? And after that, I'm talking about now the Delhi NCR. There was some 1 year. There was some renovation going on in that Pragati Maidan area of Delhi. So at that year, in that year also, many publishers didn't participate or were not able to participate because of that renovation activities in their specific areas. And there is also obviously the investment of the publisher to put up the stalls and all. So sometimes nowadays some good publishers also are not preferring to uh, participate in the uh, book fair. But yes, we can't say that they are just on the declining stage. It is not the case. They are still flourishing. Still the biggest book fair across the world. That is the Frankfurt Book Fair, and a large number of people attend those. So yes, the digitalization is making the effect, but not at the very large scale. The visitors are the book lovers, the authors, and the readers are still attend these kind of events. And if you visit any, you will find a lot of people attending these events. And specifically, the parents nowadays of small children, they encourage their children to attend the book fair with them, right? Because as nowadays the children are moving towards also the digitalization, digital technologies, and all mobiles and laptops, gamings and all. So it inculcates the habit of reading in their children. It's because when if you are visiting a book fair with your child, so you will definitely purchase a book or something. Your child will also get to know about how many or how interesting the books are. So in spite of digitalization, the book fairs are not in the declining stage. Yes, there are some effects, but uh, they are still flourishing. They are still being conducted, and the people are still attending these events. So, this is the thing. Then you have, uh, I think you a point that you must have heard that is of mass distribution, right? So the mass distribution is a thing to distribute any product on a mass scale, right? Because as the publishers are categorized on the basis of the subjects they are dealing, on the basis of the market they are dealing, like some are of the school books, some are of the college books, some are of the fiction, right? So, but these have the specific markets, right? If you are publishing a book of class 10 students, so you have a specific market of class 10 students. If you are publishing a higher education book of management, so you have a specific market of the management professionals or management students, right? But if the book has to be produced on a mass scale, that means a book that is available to all, that is interest that a mass of number of people are interested in that book, right? So these kind of books are also produced by the publisher, right? But the production of these books is not easy. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of risk in that. Right? So basically, the main challenge or the main problem of the mass distribution or mass production of these books is the to identify your target market, that how big your market will be, how large will your audience will be. Because if you're producing a book for a mass scale, so the number of the audience should be large, right? So the main challenge is of the finding for the target market, that what kind of market, and if it is a mass distribution product, then it should be on the global scale, it should be on the mass scale, that the book should be the mass number of people should have interest in reading that specific book. Right? So normally, publisher have a fear of producing these kind of books because it involves a lot of risk, right? And it needs a proper survey, right? If you are thinking or if you are planning to produce a book of some specific subject, right? A proper survey should be there by the salespeople or by any publishing personnel that the publisher has appointed for you. There should be proper survey that if they will produce a book of this subject, so what kind of market and how large the market will be, how long the shelf life of the book will be. So it is a matter of survey also. If your survey is not proper, your survey is not sound, you may fail while producing these kinds of books. Right? So these kind of books should be with the subjects that should be of the common interest, right? Because as I told that one specific subject is not uh, common to all, right? A fiction book may not be of interest to all, right? A management book will not be of interest to all. An English book will not be of interest to all. So the publisher has to find a subject an interest that is common to a will not be a common to all people, but common to a large number of people, a mass number of people. So the selection of subject is also a very big task in this kind of books, right? So generally, these subjects are related to the life, to the relationships. These kind of subjects are of interest to everyone, right? So basically, to the not going to the professional life, if it will be related to the personal lives of the people, it will be have the uh, it will have more number of readers, right? So the the main things that the publisher should consider, the subject of the book, the theme of the book, right, should be very close to the readers, should be very interesting to the readers, that if a reader looks at the subject, they should have the urge to read that book, they should have a thirst to read that book, right? A subject should be that powerful, right? The external look should be very simple, very soothing to the eyes, right? And also the most important thing, the price of the book, right? The price of the book should be very reasonable. Obviously, the publisher cannot afford to have losses in these books or any kind of production, right? The publisher must also have considered their production cost and all, but still they cannot raise the MRP so high that the a common man cannot afford that. The because if a person has a thirst to read that book, has a quench to read that book, but if the cost is not uh, suiting to their pockets, they will not buy it. Right. So along with the subject, along with the looks, you should also be careful about the uh, pricing of the book. That the pricing of the book should be very reasonable. That a normal person, a common person, should be able to buy that book, should be able to afford that book. Because if your product is good, then there is no dearth of buyers who will buy those books. So yes, the cost factor is also there because there are large number of books. So when you are, because the costing depends everything on everything, like production cost will be there, like the printing cost will be there. If you are printing a large number of books, the more number of papers will be included. The more number of papers means the higher the cost, right? So costing factor is always cost is always high in these books, but yes, still The challenge for the publisher is to keep the MRP, keeping their profits in mind, and keeping the pockets of the readers in the mind. That what the readers can afford. So the publisher has produced the book. Publisher normally what a publisher does for their marketing of their books, they just put there on the websites, right? They go to the distributors. They do the book launches if it required. And they prepare the flyers and all for the advertisements. Okay. But these kind of books, these efforts will not be sufficient, right? So, if our target audience is a common man, so the marketing should also reach to the common man. Our advertisement should reach to the common man, right? So, we need to find that where will we find the more number of common people. Mhm. So, where will we find in the public places, right? Because like me, we are not going to attend any book launch if we are not interested in anything, right? So if I am not a very keen book lover or very one that is who is interested in books, I will not even go in the scorching heat of the sun to the book fairs, right? So the common people, where will we find? Where we will find on the airports, on the railway stations, on the bus stops. Uh, these kind of in the normal trade fairs, right? Not specifically to the book fair, but the trade fair where the common people are going. So the marketing is marketing efforts or the advertisements of the these books, mass distribution books, is also different. So because as good as your advertisement will be, as good as your marketing will be, your sales as higher will be your sales. Right? So everything is being done for the sales only. So these are the mass distribution books. Not every publisher goes for those. I have told you the reason. Not everyone goes for the mass distribution books. So another thing that publishers do, and that is generally being done to inculcate the reading habits uh, in the readers. You may also have seen those. You may also have joined those book clubs. Right? The term book clubs and subscription books. Right? There are two different. These are two different concepts. Right? So, what are book clubs? Book clubs are generally organized group of individuals, right, who come together to discuss and analyze books they have collectively chosen to read. Basically, the book clubs are organized on the basis of the subjects like politics book clubs or entertainment book clubs, right? So finance book clubs. So the book clubs are organized on the basis of the fiction book club, right, on the basis of the subjects or interest. So that specific people of that specific interest join those specific book clubs, right? And so the primary purpose of a book club is to create a community of readers, right, who share a common interest in the literature on the specific subject and do the discussions, the meetings. Right? Book clubs can take various forms. Like it can range from the small gatherings of friends to the very big organized clubs that are open to the public. Right? And also, the members of a book club, meet on a regular basis, like monthly they are meeting, or the weekly they are meeting, bi-monthly they are meeting to discuss the books of that genre, uh, to have discussion that what is being discussed in but which book, and which book is good in what sense and all, right? So different aspects are covered: the themes of the book, the subject they are covering, the writing style of the authors of the book, and also the publishers book of a specific publisher also, right? So if your books are good, if the books of a publisher is being liked in a book club, right? So obviously there is a benefit for the publisher. So it is a like a social component. Book clubs are the social components in which the readers or the book lovers connect and discuss and evaluate the different books on some specific subjects. So it is an effort to inculcate the reading habits, have a to have a group of readers, to have more number of people in the society who who have the reading habits, who have the good sense of analysis, good sense of discussions and all, right? So then there are subscription books, right? Subscription books. The best example, if you have seen, are the uh, Kindle versions of books on Amazon and all. These are when the books go on Kindle and all, and you are paying uh, some specific amount uh, for some specific period for a book. Those books are called the subscription books. So, if we go by the definition, subscription books refer to a business model where the readers pay a recurring amount for some specific book for a specific period. Right? So instead of purchasing books separately, subscribers gain the limited access for the some limited time period for a specific amount, and they read those books. Right? And these books have also gained popularity because everything is now being digitized. So in the age of digitization, subscription books are gaining much popularity these days because uh, they are convenient to read, and they are also cost effective because one has to purchase the book. They have to pay specific amount that is obviously less than the MRP of the book and all. And uh, they are able to read the books, right? And every owner has these subscription books these days. The authors are also encouraging these versions. So what the publishers are doing, if the publisher is, as I told earlier, also if the publisher is printing a book, is publishing a book in hard copy, they simultaneously also produce the uh, e-versions of those printed books, like e-book, EPUB. They immediately, when the books goes into printing, they immediately upload their e-versions on Amazon, on Flipkart, on so that the uh, Kindle and all will be Kindle and all versions will be available to the readers. So publishers are also making efforts to flourish, to survive in the digital world. As you may have seen or you may have heard, the downfall in the publishing industry these days. But there is not actually downfall. The publishers are also making efforts because if there is any industry, not only the publishing one, if there is any industry, if anyone will not, if a company will not make the efforts to match the contemporary demands of the market, they will downfall, obviously. Right? So it is not the case with all the publishers. All the publishers are now making efforts to survive and to obviously flourish in the digitized world also. So these are the subscription books and the clubs, which are basically uh, book clubs are mainly to inculcate or to build a community of readers, and the subscription books are mainly to make the books available to readers on a subscription basis, where they can read the books online, right, on any platform if they are using, because EPUBs are the formats that the publishers are producing. On the EPUBs have the benefit that they can be read on any device any electronic device you are handling. If it is a mobile, you will be able to. If it is a tablet, if it is a laptop, if it is a desktop, right? So you will be able to read the EPUB version on every device. So with the printed books, with the e-books, publishers are also producing the e-books of the books. So then the distribution system comes. Distribution systems, we have also talked about this in the last session. After producing after getting the books in the warehouse, they get printed, uh, the task of distribution starts at the publisher's end. They uh, the channels of distribution are similar to any industry. They are the publisher approaches to the book distributors, right? They also make their efforts with the salespeople of the publisher make effort. If they are contacted with the distributor, and the distributor is of large scale, generally the distributor works on a large scale only, right? So uh, the distributor in one area, and then that distributor also have their salesmen who approaches to the retailers of the books, and to the also sometimes to the institutes of the book, institute of some specific subjects, right? So that the books can be distributed thoroughly and all. And we have discussed about this in the last session, so I don't think we need to not to go in the detail, because promotion and everything we have covered, that how the publisher and distributor sign their agreement and all. So we have covered this thing. Okay. So today we don't have many of these for us. Uh, then, if you have any doubts or queries, you may please ask, because now everything is completed of the editorial acquisition and marketing, sales. Everything is covered. And if you remember in the starting, we read that there are three, four main divisions in a publishing house. Those are editorial, marketing, sales, and finance. Right. So we have learned about all. Now that just the finance is left. We will the further block which is there. It is on finance. So if you have queries till now, you may please raise your queries. Okay, no queries. So now we will move to the finance part of the publisher. Right? We have discussed a bit about the production cost and all, right? But now we will move towards the actual economics of the publishing. That in a publishing house, how the finance are calculated, how is the profit calculated, right? What are the financial risks that the publisher faces, and what are all the publishing costs to the publisher, what are all the factors that contribute to the publisher's income. So, publishing is also a business like other businesses, right? So they are operating in the market obviously for the profits, like any other industry. So a basic formula that we all know for the profits is income minus cost. whatever we are saving, that is called the profit. So same funda is applied to the publisher also. Right? So the whatever they are getting as an income from the sales of their products, the product for publisher is books, right? Because we are talking about the books only, that time I'm talking about books, because otherwise they are the magazine publisher, then the product is magazine. If they are journals publisher, their product is journal. But we are talking about the book, that's why I'm saying books, right? So whatever they are getting from the sales of the book, and whatever the cost they are incurring in the production of that book, the difference between them, both the cost, both the amounts actually, is the profit of the publisher, right? Actually, the publishing industry is a bit different from other industries, right? Because it is not like that you are purchasing one product, and you are like what happens in generally the trade business, like you are purchasing a product for some and from some party and client, and then you are delivering it to another client, right? Because the publishing industry needs effort to produce that book to be able to sell in the market. So it needs investment to produce that book. It needs uh, investment, and it is the brain investment, right? You need to apply your brain. You need to make efforts with your brain to acquire a book, to develop a book, to evaluate a book, right? To produce a book. It is an investment of mind, right? And the publisher, it is not that for book we have produced a book, we have distributed it to the distributors, wholesalers in the market, and we will get immediately start getting the uh, input from those sales, because a book it depends on the shelf life of a book, right? It may also happen that it will take 2 years, 3 years for the book is uh, getting sold, and the publisher is then getting started earning from that one specific book, right? So the publisher has to wait for that. So it is always said that the flow of money is less in a publishing house. But we should also remember, we should also keep in mind that a publisher is not producing only one book at a time, right? A publisher is doing so many books at a time, right? Because if a single department in a publisher is producing 100 books in a year, 100 or 10 books in a year, so obviously in a month, uh, around 10 or 20 books or maybe more than that are being published, right? So it may happen that whatever the flow of money is, whatever money is being flowed in the publishing house at a certain time, it is the earning of some book that was produced 2 or 3 years back, right? So the earning of some another book pays for the investment of the another book. Right? So the cash flow of in a publishing house is like that, that a publisher earns for one book and invests the same in the production of some another book, right? The cycle moves on. When this book will be produced and will be sold, this amount will be used in the production of some another book that the publisher will be producing after 2 or 3 years, right? So what are the sources of the finance? It as I told that it is not the case in the publishing industry that we have installed the big machineries, we have invested in the infrastructure. Sorry, not on the infrastructure. right? In the machineries and all, and we are able to produce our book. It is not the case, right? It needs the effort and critical thinking, the developing thinking of the editors, which goes in evaluating and in producing the books. Like any book require a huge sum of investment to publish the same book, right? But because if we go into the if we go in the market to buy a book and we see that the price is so high of this book, right? But it is the case that the publisher also has to incur a large sum of money, a large sum of cost to produce that book, right? Because now you are aware that what kind of cost that a publisher has to incur. First, the editorial cost is there, right? Then the production cost is there. They are paying to the typesetters, they are paying to the proofreaders, they are paying to the copy editors, right? And then the printing cost that is very high these days. That is also there. Like the price of they are paying for the paper of the book, right? And the marketing and sales, which requires a large amount of money, large amount of investment. So that MRP that you are seeing on the back cover of the book, that has the publisher has reached that by taking into account all these kind of costs into consideration, and then obviously their profits, and then the MRP that we're seeing in the book is calculated, and the book is sold. Also, as I told that the flow of money is less because the if a book is being sold in 2 or 3 years, so the earning from that book will come in 2 or 3 years only. So it depends on the marketability, on the marketing efforts and the sales efforts of a publishing house, that how fast their books are being sold, right? Because if the book will be sold faster, the obviously the flow of money will increase in the house. Uh, but if your marketing efforts are not up to the mark, the sales efforts are not up to the mark, or maybe due to some other reasons also, if the book is not being sold at a very high speed, you will have to face losses sometimes, or the shortage of money to invest in your other books. Yes, nature. And the costing of the book also depends on the nature of your book. What is the nature? Nature here depends on the subject of the book. Basically, the what kind of subject your book is, because your subject affects your production cost, affects your printing cost, because accordingly that paper will be used. Its subject affects your marketing investment, your sales investment. So the nature of the product will affect your cost, and the nature of the the customer will affect your cost. And if you know that your customer is are libraries, you will go to the libraries and you will promote your books. But if you will have to go to the individuals, that needs more efforts, right? That needs more investment, because to reach to the specific institution or institutions and is easier than to reach to the to individuals in the market, right? So because the customer of the books are two only, either they will be the individuals or they will be the institutions. So it also depends that how much, what kind of consumer you have, and how much effort or investment you will have to make in your marketing and sales. So all these costs will also be taken into consideration. Then basically, while taking the or while calculating the publishing cost, we take the three factors into mind. What is the first is the printing method, printing factor. Then the operation factor is there, and then the cost factor is there. The printing factor, what we have discussed earlier, like pre-printing cost, or you can say the production cost. Right? Production cost involves the copywriting, text editing, proofreading, indexing, and that is considered as the pre-press or the pre-printing cost. Printing cost, obviously, the whatever the publisher is paying to the printer for printing that specific book. Right? And the operation factor considers the editorial preparation, the sales promotion and marketing efforts, and the administrative overheads. Because a publisher, if an editor is evaluating a manuscript, and if an editor is editing a book, or a production editor is producing the book, the publisher is paying salaries for that, right? So these are the these you can say the operational cost amount. Like administrative overheads. So the administrative overheads are the same that in any organization or with any company, right? Like telephone bills, lightnings, and all these are same. So the cost factor method is linked with the size of the edition of the book. Right? The longer your book, the higher will be the price, the higher will be the costing. The higher will be the costing, so the higher will be the MRP of the book. Right? There are the cost we divide into sections. The variable cost, right? So fixed cost will consider your salaries, your taxes, your rent that you are paying, right? And varying cost is the one that is being occurred, that is being occurred in the production of the specific book. Because as I told that the size of the book will impact the cost of the book. So every book will have a different size, right? Will have a different market, will have a different kind of paper, will have a different kind of uh, complexity, right? So the cost will be different for each book, right? But the cost if we are paying for the publisher is running in an office that is on lease, so they will have to pay that lease irrespective of the size of the edition, right? If they are uh, paying the salaries to their editors, to their staff, that is the fixed cost. Right? The lightning cost, any infrastructure cost they are paying, that is called the fixed cost. That is considered, and the variable cost that I have told you that differs along with each book, right? Because the size of the book or the MRP of the book also affects the royalty that is being paid to the authors, right? Because the royalty is paid on the percentage basis that we will pay the 10% royalty on the net sales of a book to the author. That is mentioned in the agreement, or 15% royalty to the author. So it depends on the sale of the book. So this is also considered as a variable cost that we pay. And then the promotion and marketing effort that also varies along with each book, right? So because every book is different, every book is a different market, and it needs different efforts. If your book is well established in the market, then you need not to make a very good effort, right? So, so these kind of fixed and variable cost problem, all these are considered, and then the book MRP is decided, is finalized. And we consider the selling price, uh, the number of copies that has been sold in the market, what are the discounts, what are the schemes that we are making available to the public or to the authors. Right? These are in the costing and all, and that how big is the cost and the what kind of cost and factors do we consider while finalizing the price of the book or the finalizing the cost of the book. There is one term in the finance that is the break-even point. Right? Break-even point is a point where there is no loss and no profit. You may have heard also about this one. So this point is taken into account or is considered at the very initial stages of the book when the book is accepted for the publication and when we are right. So this point is taken into account when we are planning a book to publish, right? Because this is the point where the publisher knows that till this point we will not be able to earn any profit, right? So if the publisher knows that after being uh, uh, 500 copies, till the sale of 500 copies, we will not earn the profit, and after the sale of 500 copies, we will start earning profits, right? So when we are planning to publish a book, at that time this calculation is done. The reason of calculating it at the very initial stages, because if we know that the cost will be so high, we can still make efforts to reduce the cost by making the changes in our layout of the book by because by changing in the making changes in the layout, we can reduce the page count of the book, and the page count directly affects the printing cost. Right. So these kind of efforts we can make. We can also try to change our marketing plans, our sales plans of that specific book to reduce the costing. Right. So this is why the break-even point is calculated at the very initial stages. So for the break-even point, there are some inputs or there are some factors that are necessary to calculate that point. That is expected selling price. That what can be the MRP of a book? Okay, because if it is a textbook, you cannot raise your MRP too high, right? What are the trade discounts that you will be giving to the public or to the first buyer or any other scheme that if you are going to plan for that specific book? What are the fixed costs that will be applicable for that book? Fixed cost in addition to the lighting and all, we can also take the salaries that we are paying to the editors because see, every editor is not getting the same salary, right? A junior one will get a lesser salary than the senior person, right? So it may happen if the cost is high, that book will not be assigned to the senior editor. It will be assigned to the to an editor who is getting less salary. So here we can reduce our fixed cost also, right? The unfixed cost, that are the variable costs, that are the production cost and all, we can always make efforts to reduce our variable cost. If there can be change in the royalty of the book that is to be paid to the author, because generally these are the standard percentages that a publisher pays to their author. But if for some specific book, if there is a need to change, they can change and can accordingly sign an agreement with the author that we will pay you this much royalty for the specific sales of the book. Right? And obviously, the size of the edition we will take into account. So these all are the factors that need to be taken into account while calculating the break-even point. So there are mm, benefits of this exercise, right? Because at the very starting point, you can make the efforts. You can give a second thought that whether to publish this book or not, or whether to publish this book with a second plan, right? With the plan B. Uh, Also, it helps in the long-term planning for a publishing house. There are also some limitations, right, for the break-even point. Because as I told you that we are assigning to a some editor who is less paid. But if the book is not of that category that can be handled by the junior editor, then obviously we will not take risk. We will obviously assign to the some senior person who can handle that book. Right? Because every editor has a separate capability. So here we will not be able to negotiate. It may happen that the editor has left in between, and we will need to assign the book to some different editor. So the fixed cost that we have planned earlier can also vary. This is how the profits are planned or profits are calculated in a publishing house by considering the sales and how much sales will be they will be able to, because before starting a book, the your sales people will give you an idea that this book will make how much sales. Obviously, the plus and minus are always there, but yes, an estimate or average kind of thing, your salespeople will give to you that yes, in 2 years we will be able to sell 1100 copies. In 3 years, we will be able to sell 1500 copies. So, on these aspects, on the basic factors, we calculate our cost and we calculate our. So, this is bit about the finance part the publishing house. So now you are aware of the what the editorial department does, what the production department does, marketing and sales people, and um, what are the efforts of the finance department in the publishing house. If you have any queries till now, you may please raise because I am done with my part today because today they didn't have just 4 units to discuss. Varsha, I have posted my email there, email in the chat box. So if you have any, if you want to discuss anything, you can
Yeah,
please
thanks, ma'am.
reach to me. So, nothing is there. This is the last session of us. So I just feel best of luck to all of you, and I hope I have been able to clarify your concepts at least. So if you will read your study material now, you will be it will be more easier for you to understand the things with whatever is written in the your learning material, and you will be able to grasp the concepts better. Better. Not to, if there is any query, I will always go. So, sir, I think we can
Thank you so
close
much,
the
ma'am.
session. So I think we can close the session for today.
Yes, madam, we can close it. Thank you so much for joining and helping us with these issues. We'll meet again next week, ma'am.
No, sir, this was the last session of mine.
Okay,
So,
okay, okay. Sorry. Then
yeah,
we'll
so,
contact you, ma'am. We'll contact you shortly.
yeah, sure, sure, sir.
Thank you for taking all these sessions, and it was always a pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you,
And
sir.
we will definitely contact you very shortly, ma'am, for other things
Yeah,
also.
sure.
Thank you so much, and
Thank
I
you, sir.
also thank
Thank you,
all the
everyone.
students for joining.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, thank you. Bye. See you.
Bye.